Pledge allegiance to the flag of our country.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Grant us, O Lord, light to our understanding, prudence in our investigating, foresight in our planning, sincerity in our deliberating, the grace to follow truth in our judgment. Help us to be moved in our decision neither by fear nor by self-interest, and to do our work faithfully. May we respect the authority vested in us, for thou art the source of all authority. And may we use our directives for the common good, and for thy honor and glory. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Present.
Commissioner Regovich.
Here.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Here. Okay, this brings us to our first public comment portion of our meeting. Is anyone wishing to address the board at this time? Good morning, or afternoon. Welcome, sir. Good to see you.
Thank you. Dave Lima, 7774 Litchfield Drive, Mentor. And good afternoon, commissioners, and happy Valentine's Day. As you know, I have some serious concerns about the proposed jail project. I would like to make 4 points. Point number 1, I reviewed data from the Ohio Office of Criminal Justice Services. In 2021, the Ohio crime rate was 407 per 100,000 population, while Lake County's crime rate was 166 per 100,000 population. Currently, the number of local jail beds in Ohio is 1 bed for every 658 residents, while in Lake County, the figure is 1 bed for every 604 residents. The proposal for a 504-bed, $140 to $170 million jail would result in 1 bed for every 460 residents, well in excess of the Ohio figure and other jails in the state of Ohio. Point number 2, a review of violent and property crime rankings on a scale of 1 to 100, with 1 representing the best and 100 representing the worst. Lake County's violent crime ranking is 9.1, and property crime ranking is 26.3, well below the United States averages in both categories, 22.7 and 35.4 respectively. Credit to our law enforcement and the law-abiding residents of Lake County. Point number 3, the repeated assertion by the sheriff and the annual jail report that 2/3 of the inmates in the jail are felons lacks accuracy. The sheriff and the report fail to point out that included in those figures are inmates who are charged with a felony but have yet to be tried and convicted. In addition, stated figures indicating an increase in jail population are taken from 1990 to the present, despite the fact that the population growth recently has remained flat. Point number 4, the jail in Lake County would best be described as a short-term correctional holding facility. The average length of stay is less than 30 days. Successful treatment of addiction and mental health problems, if achieved in such a short period of time, would be revolutionary and represent a significant breakthrough in the field. If such a model exists, I would like to see it, and I'm sure our community agencies and agencies throughout the United States would find it helpful in delivering more effective mental health and addiction services. Realistically, successful treatment requires more time than is available in our short-term correctional facility, and more importantly, cooperation and commitment on the part of the patient client. These requirements are not likely to be found in jail. On a personal note, I was the domestic relations court marriage counselor for nearly 10 years. The court required those seeking a divorce to attend a mandatory marriage counseling session. During my tenure, when offered a second visit or a referral to an outside agency for further counseling, the response was zero. Patients, clients must possess a voluntary commitment to work on their issues. It is folly to think that in a coercive environment, such as a jail, or in any other coercive environment, that the delivery of services suggested will result in successful outcomes. Serious consideration should be given to reducing the size and scope of the proposed jail project, say 400 inmate beds, and maybe even a new jail. Whether this project is financed on the back of the taxpayer or through some other means, reducing the size and scope will save project costs and the cost of debt service. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. If I could address some of your points here. Point number one, when you talk about the crime rate, I believe it's important to point out that 46% of the crime in Lake County is being committed by non-Lake County residents. The problem is not the law-abiding people of Lake County, as you indicated. It is the people coming to Lake County and committing crimes. It has been asked, why are people coming to Lake County to commit crimes? Our sheriff rather eloquently said, because we have things worth stealing. You mentioned the 2/3 felons. That also includes those that are not convicted. I'm trying not to be sarcastic when I say this, but a non-convicted felon needs to be cared for in the same manner as a convicted felon. It takes the same level of corrections officer attention and facility attention. You talk about short-term facility, and you've heard me on numerous occasions talk about continuum of care, everything from intake to reentry. If we are going to reduce recidivism, and that's really where it's at, reduce recidivism, people recommitting crimes. If we do not take a comprehensive approach to this, that is the folly. That is the failure. And I give our sheriff high praise for being so open-minded, and our jail administrator for being such a leader, nationally recognized leader. So forgive my wanting to address those, but I thought it was worth doing. So with that, anyone else wishing to address this board? Sir.
John Music, 45 Country Drive. I just want to say, things have changed in Lake County and in our world and our country. 20 years ago, I've been working on what's been happening at our border for over 20 years, and I've gone all over speaking about it, may it be Columbus, here, or even in D.C. And the thing about it is, it's only going to get worse. It isn't going to get better. All the things, like I've heard, just like in a lot of places besides here, from senators and so forth and representatives down in Columbus and also in D.C., it's going to get worse before it gets better. And our law enforcement, which includes all three departments, are going to want and need all the tools that are available to do their job. Because what happened 2 years ago, 3 years ago, is not just like I spoke at the last meeting about what's just happened here in Lake County. Just recently here, I think I gave 5 different things. And I've lived here my entire life. And the thing about it is, this county is not what it used to be. I hear people say, hey, I don't feel safe after dark here and this and that and whatever, And the thing about it is I used to hear that in various other parts. It's like I had a chance to go to Chicago for a meeting. Do you think I want to ride the subway there? Or the same thing in Metro. I was invited to 2 meetings there. And do I want to ride the Metro in D.C.? No. And I invited one in Arizona and one in Texas. And I thought, no, I don't think there's time to go either place there either. it's to the point is, you know, our country is going in the wrong direction for various reasons. And in my opinion, it starts at the border. And like you hear so many times about drugs are so involved in so many crimes that are being done. It's part of the problem. It isn't all the problem, but it is part. So I'm depending on you three to make the best decision for the people. And we need to get our priorities straight. Our priorities are at the national level, militarily and law enforcement, which I think, in my opinion, have been basically ignored for a long time. And the thing about it is we, in the county, let's get our priorities straight. Yeah, might there be some departments that suffer, but I surely don't want it to be our law enforcement. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, sir.
Mr. President,
Sir.
I can speak as the mayor of Willowick for over 6 years. In my 6 years there, we had a gang murder, police shooting, I don't know how many drug raids on houses, all which was unheard of in the city I grew up in. Those are the type of crimes we're seeing come into Lake County. They were shocking to me at the time, and it would still be shocking to me. So I've seen it firsthand. I've been on scene to all those incidents, and I just hope that we can, do what we can to keep that at bay.
Well said, sir.
Mr. President,
Sir.
first of all, I just want to say thank you to John Music and David Lima, as well as Bishop Maribel and other residents who take the time to be here meeting after meeting after meeting. Your presence here makes a big difference. We need participation from our community, and the fact that you're informed and aware and you continue to share your thoughts and concerns about the problems in your neighborhood, that makes us far more capable to do our job. So I want to start with a thank you. I also want to say that while we certainly see the world has changed, and this country is a less safe place, there are far more drug-related crimes. In fact, virtually all violent crimes today relate back one way or another to drugs. It is a serious societal issue. And we're not going to solve the nation's problems in one county by ourselves. But I think it's important, as we consider the fact that our lives 30, 40 years ago were safer than they are today, that we recognize that Lake County remains a beacon versus other communities. Are we as safe as we were 50 years ago? No. Would it be wise to leave your car door or house door unlocked anywhere in the United States today? No. We don't live in Mayberry. We don't. That's another era. And we can't go back in time much as we'd like to. But if you compare Lake County and our level of safety to Cuyahoga or anywhere else in the state, we fare very well. We're better than most, and we aspire to be the best. And that requires a lot of things. It requires resources and money, yes, but it also requires each and every one of us as leaders to do better. Money alone will not solve these problems. We've seen this with the public schools. There's never been more money spent per child in education, and yet the results have not improved. Money is important. It is a necessary element, but it's not sufficient. And it's incumbent on each and every one of us to do better. But I think we are already doing better than most of our neighboring communities. You compare Cuyahoga County, we're not exporting crime to them. 44% of the crime, 46% is from other communities in Lake. Well, on the one hand, we're troubled that that's happening. On the other hand, we're not exporting crime. We do have a law-abiding community with strong law enforcement, and we are safer. And if anyone asked me, where would you want to be? Are you proud to live in Lake County? I'd say, heck yes, I am. This is a safe place relative to virtually anywhere else in the world. And we're very, very blessed to live here. Now, we have to maintain that, and that's what we've been talking about, not just here at the meeting, but at the budget hearings earlier today. And that is a serious task. We are stewards of the safety of Lake County, all of us, not just the commissioners, the sheriff, or the prosecutor, but every resident, the entire community. We are stewards of our safety. But when I hear people say that we are facing a crisis, that's true in the national sense, and I acknowledge that. But at the same time, I don't want to lose sight of the fact that we have done an exemplary job here in Lake County. It would be a criticism of our sheriff's department and all of our police departments and law enforcement to exaggerate or say that we're less safe than Cuyahoga County. I am familiar with many neighborhoods in Cleveland where hearing a gunshot every other hour is frankly just, it's boring. People aren't even surprised when they hear it. You know, if there is a shooting in Lake County, it is a serious major event that the whole community takes note of because it is so rare comparatively speaking. Now, one shooting is too many, and we do everything that we can to prevent that. But at the same time, I want to make sure we understand the incredible job that our sheriff's office and our police departments do. And I live in Willoughby Hills, which is right on the border with Cuyahoga. When we talk about cross-border crime, that's literally my neighborhood. And I'll tell you right now, I have walked in the middle of the night to the gas station. I have walked up and down the sidewalk in my neighborhood with my dog late at night, and I have never once felt unsafe. And if you would point to a single neighborhood in Lake County that people would say, well, the statistics for crime are a little bit higher than average, probably would be my neighborhood. I hope it's not because of me. But I feel 100% safe in my community because of the dedication of our sheriffs and our police department. And I just don't want to lose sight of that. We have an important job, but Lake County is one of the safest places in the world to live, work, and raise a family, and that is a testament to everyone working together toward that goal. Now that means we have a high standard to maintain, but we should be proud of that. And I just don't want to lose sight of that as we talk about the various serious issues with crime and safety, to act as though we're living in a post-apocalyptic wasteland. That is not true. Lake County is one of the best, I would argue it is the best place in the world to live, work, retire, and raise a family.
I am concerned to hear a comparison between the justice system in Lake County and public schools. We are not talking about hall monitors. Crime in our schools is actually on the rise. Vicious beatings, bullying, drugs. Those are very real concerns. Chief Izzo, I hate to do this to you, sir, but would you mind coming forward? Chief Izzo of our Lake County Sheriff's Department. We just had a budget hearing for the Sheriff's Office. As I said then, no decisions will be made until all budget meetings are completed. During that, did we not have a discussion about cartel drug activity taking place right here in Lake County, sir?
Yes, we did.
Can you give a little bit of a description as to the scene that your SWAT team arrived on?
It was a multi-agency, multi-jurisdictional investigation involving us locally, some federal entities as well. The short of it is there were some Mexican cartels operating in this area, having safe houses all throughout Northeast Ohio. They hit a number of houses at the same time. Came up somewhere between, depending on what numbers you see, 44 and 80 kilos of fentanyl and methamphetamine. Our part of it, when the SWAT team hit, multiple AR platform rifles and handguns were found. No narcotics in that particular house, but the link was to where they were found. So.
And would you characterize that as a significant scene that could have gone incredibly bad?
Yeah, and it's not. It's just it just goes to show the changing dynamic, the changing platform that we're dealing on. You know, in years past, that type of thing would have. I mean, it startles us now, but to see that as becoming more and more frequent, that type of thing is what concerns us. So, and that coupled with what the sheriff and I are learning as we expand our education, I guess, is it's not just us that's dealing with it, but it's every place in the country, and Lake County is no different. So it's going to be a constant struggle to keep Lake County as safe as it is, to keep it out of here.
And the Sheriff's Department is the prime behind, is it Stone Garden, I believe?
Yeah, so Operation Stone Garden is, we get funding through Border Patrol. We work very closely with many agencies in the county, But the primary focus there is drug interdiction. We get a sizable grant. We've asked for more because we see the need for it, because we run through the money. Mentor Police, Willoughby Police, Western and Lake County agencies work very closely with us on that. And we've seen a lot of success in it.
And those grant dollars are being sent to Lake County because our federal government sees a growing need in Lake County and an opportunity to stop that before it becomes more severe.
And it's not only the need, it's the fact that we have been proactive in using those funds successfully and shown results. We'll continue to do it because I think it works.
So using dollars wisely, I think my grandfather used to call it an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. I've heard others use it, but I'll attribute it back to who told it to me first.
Yeah.
I believe we had a few raids here a few months ago about human trafficking. Anything you want to comment on that?
We're just, the task force is based out of Cuyahoga. We're becoming more and more involved, it seems like, by the week. I don't want to get into too many details of it, but it's, it's not, we're learning, it used to just be called prostitution, but we're learning that there's just a lot more to it. And my views on it personally have evolved over the last few years to realize that there are some real victims that are, committing crimes technically, but that need the assistance, and it is happening in Lake County. Without getting into the details, it's
Understood.
happening far more than we'd like to think about.
Is it fair to characterize, and I already know the answer to the question, but this is a modern day version of slavery. These people are being branded. They're forced to wear jewelry and other identifying things as to who their so-called owners are. It's not prostitution. I know that was very common to confuse, if not conflate, I'll even use that word. Prostitution and human trafficking, they are not the same. Some people are being forced to commit crimes.
Yeah, I would say prostitution is an element of the human trafficking that we're seeing.
Okay, and I appreciate your being such a good sport about being called up.
Anytime, sir.
I thought it was worth putting a very fine point on that.
Anytime.
Anyone else in the audience? Sir.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Morgan McIntosh, trustee in Concord Township, presently serving as chairman of the board and also here as the president of the Lake County Township Association. I did come here to add some depth on a topic that was touched on last week, but I did sit through the budget hearings for both the prosecutor's office and the sheriff's department, and given the remarks, I'd like to add a couple things. I believe most of you know that I'm presently serving as the foreman of the Lake County Grand Jury, so I have had a chance to dust off some of my prior law enforcement experience from over 20 years ago, sitting through grand jury hearings, and I can attest absolutely to the fantastic job that our prosecutor's office does. They are a wonderful professional bunch of attorneys. They've come forward and given us very clear and concise cases. There's been very little deliberation or questioning of the thoroughness of not only the law enforcement investigation, but the work that that office has done. And I would like to add, even so, not really supposed to be talking about what we hear in there, but stripping all of the details out, I would even add, when you look at the parties coming into the county to commit crimes, there was a piece of evidence that was presented to us that the individuals that were under indictment were very surprised at not only the thoroughness of the law enforcement agency that got them to the prosecutor's office, but that the job the prosecutor's office was doing, being as thorough as it was clearly a shock to this individual. So I can personally attest to the fact that our prosecutor's office is doing a fantastic job. As a township trustee, the last 3 years, I've had a lot of occasion to work with the Sheriff's Department, Captain Izzo, Sheriff Liam Bruno, and our residents are very grateful for the service they provide. We have, as a group, talked about their service before, and they do an excellent job. And as you know, I did come forward last fall and point out to you that Part 1 and Part 2 crimes had risen significantly in the townships. I think the number was around 40% over the just since pre-COVID, and so that's a reality that we are dealing with. So I did want to add that color and to sort of But I do want to thank our Sheriff's Department and Prosecutor's Office for doing such a great job, and you have tough decisions to make as far as how you choose to proceed, but as someone who just left the private sector, you do have to pay for talent, and hiring has gotten extremely difficult, and the law enforcement profession has added other layer of difficulty. So I don't envy the decisions that you have to make, but thank you for your service in doing so. So back to the reason that I'm here, I did want to thank the commissioners for taking up, I know at the meeting last week, Commissioner Hamercheck did bring up something with regard to the local government fund, and I wanted to just add a depth of comment about that topic. For those who aren't aware, the local government fund is driven out of state tax dollars that are apportioned out to the counties, by which then each county has a formulation and distributes funds to the local governments to run their operations. Lake County adopted a formulation back in 1982 that took effect in '83, and I heard about this as a resident of Concord Township long before I was a trustee, and when I was dialoguing with my predecessors about the nature of township finances, and then when I studied it as a candidate in 2019 to understand how township finance works. What I was told and became aware of at the time is that the formula had a window of renewal every 5 years to be looked at, but that hadn't spent any time being examined, and it was just something that has been, as every year ticks by, and now we're at 40 years, I understand the heavy lift it is to untie those kind of years of knots and so forth. So it's just been something that nobody's has really taken the time to look into. Well, last year the Lake County Township Association decided that was something we wanted to spend a little bit of time examining, and I did want to thank my colleagues in Madison Township for taking some time to start that ball rolling, to start looking at some of those things which have brought certain things to light, to which Commissioner Hamercheck had referenced, and I know that becoming aware of it has sort of helped move things along a bit. So I just wanted to thank you for taking the time and attention to do that. Why is this such an important issue for townships? Well, as I said, this was a formulation that was constructed 40 years ago, and obviously the makeup of the county 40 years ago was a lot different than it is today. And referencing our conversation last year, we're looking at the townships now representing 30% of the county population, but the formulation model seems like it's weighted back to the way the county was set up 40 years ago. So statutorily, townships are not the same as cities. We don't collect income taxes. We're a more lean government. We rely on county resources, engineering, law enforcement, in some cases legal services. So our budgets are smaller, and the fact that the township portions of the local government fund is not on parity with where our population and or property values are is something that's a bit of a concern, and we are eager to look at that. I understand that in something like this, there will eventually be winners and losers, and the Township Association isn't necessarily here to try to pick fights of municipalities, but as whatever unravels from what's being looked at and how this is being examined, we want to work constructively and be part of the conversation as far as helping you. And again, I want to thank you for giving this matter some attention. It certainly deserves it, and we would like to continue our work and work with you, and whatever we can do to support the effort of a constructive re-examination of the issue is what we would like to do. So just want to thank you for that, and thank you for hearing me today.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Sir.
John Music, 45 Cones Drive. Just wanted to add one thing on there. You know, I support our prosecutor, our sheriff, and our justice. They do an excellent job. But like the sheriff says, we can't be everywhere all the time. The amount of crimes being committed has increased so much with the number of law enforcement officers, not just in all 23 communities. And there's only so many men and women out there enforcing our laws, but when you could have, just use a number, X amount more than the time allows for each one to do their job, it's just getting to the point of impossible. And in regards to the safety, I'm going to ask each and every one in this room, when you went to school, did you have a deputy or law enforcement in your school? So tell me how safe it is that people are demanding we have law enforcement in our schools. I went to Riverside, we didn't have anybody, now we got 3, and 1 at every elementary, except one sort of goes in between. So don't tell me it's safe. If that's the case, I guess this parents are just wanting this for no reason whatsoever. And like I said in one of the previous meetings, there were 3 arrests in September, I think it was September, at Riverside. So, and when I was there, we used to have a rifle club. No one ever got shot. So, when people say, oh, everything's fine, but yeah, then I hear, oh, Mentor has police force in their schools. You know, and the thing about it, so don't tell me it's safe and then maybe it's the parents' fault then. Is the parents' fault asking to have law enforcement in each school? Sadly, and like I said, I think our sheriff, our prosecutor, and our judges are doing an excellent job, but we must give them the tools to basically handle more things that sadly are happening in our county, in our country, and in our world. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else wishing to address the board at this time? Anyone else? All right, very good. All right, Madam Clerk, moving on to agenda item number 1, please.
In the engineer's office, resolution to advertise for bids for the LAK Prouty Road, County Road 414, resurfacing project in Concord Township, Ohio, PID number 115910, federal aid number FAN E220308, LCE project number 2021-016, bid opening March 15, 2023.
Move to approve and eloquently stated.
Second.
Discussion? Jim, do you want to add to that? That time of year again, right?
Yep, we're getting started. These things will start trickling in. This is a project that will start at 86 and go all the way to Ravenna Road. So we're going to completely do the road from end to end, and hopefully it's been a long time since that's been done. So it is in need, and we're going to kick off the season.
And your primary funding source on this, if you want to share? Your primary funding source, did you want to share that?
Yeah, we have 80% federal funds and 20% local funds will be on this, the usual formula. This is the last project on the present 4-year tip. This is the last year of the 4-year tip in from NOACA.
Thank you, sir. Okay, if there's nothing further, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
In the Utilities Department, resolution increasing appropriations and transferring cash from Lake County Department of Utilities Sewer Operating Fund to Project Fund 596, Project 465S, Brookdale Road Sanitary Sewer Rehabilitation.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution approving plan specifications and estimates of cost in the amount of $508,786 for Walnut Street Waterline Project number 449W and advertising for bids for the same, bid opening March 15, 2023.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing advertising for bids for lawn maintenance sewer service for the Lake County Department of Utilities, bid opening March 8th, 2023.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Randy, do you want to give some background on that?
Sure, thank you, Commissioner. This is something we do annually. We advertise for bids for lawn maintenance at our various sites throughout the county. This would be water towers, tanks, booster stations, pump stations for sanitary, over 50 sites that we have to keep maintained. So this is the way we get our best value for that.
And it's just less expensive to hire it done rather than doing it internally. That's what pretty much we found.
It is. It's a seasonal, task. So to be able to just have people employed during the summer months is this is the ideal way to handle that.
Very good. Thank you. If there's nothing further, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
In Job and Family Services Department, resolution approving the County Department of Job and Family Services vouchers, date of warrant February 24, 2023, in the amount of $605,547.87.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
In the Commissioner's Office, resolution accepting an emergency management performance grant in the amount of $151,970 effective through December 31st, 2023.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
In the Finance Department, resolution approving payment of bills as listed on the Commissioner's Approval Journal in the amount of $3,261,274.16.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution approving purchase orders as listed on the Commissioner's Purchase Order Approval Journal in the amount of $1,742,132.59.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution increasing appropriations for various general and non-general fund accounts.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes. All right, moving on to utilities, our departmental reports, utilities.
No report
Sorry, I
today.
suppose I should give the heading there.
No report today, Commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Job and Family Services.
No report today, Commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. County Administrator.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Just briefly, I had the privilege to attend the Willoughby Western Chamber of Commerce meeting breakfast this morning, which was essentially the state of the city of our West End mayors. Quite the jovial crowd at 7:30 in the morning, but a lot of thank yous to the county, be it utilities, road work, bridge work, commissioners, ARPA funding. So I wanted to relay on behalf of a number of the mayors the cooperation that's been provided by the county to these cities, and appreciate their recognition of our collective effort in doing projects from east to west in Lake County. Secondly, we started budget hearings this afternoon. We had some meetings scheduled for the 21st due to some scheduling conflicts. Those will be rescheduled probably hopefully the following week of February, so there will be no budget hearings next week. So I just wanted to make that known because we did discuss that briefly last week. So thank you.
Very good, thank you.
Mr. President,
Sir.
I didn't feel a whole lot of love in that room, but
Hey, I hear you had your own walk-up song. What do you mean?
that wasn't me. But I want to wish Jason a happy birthday today.
Oh boy, here we go. All right, as I always like to say, Madam Clerk, save us.
I guess the next regular Commissioners meeting is going to be Thursday, February 23rd at 10 a.m.
Got me all choked up, thank you. Legal.
No reports, Commissioner.
Thank you. Good heavens. Moving on to old business. Do we have any old business? Any old business? Okay, hearing none. Moving on to new business. Do you have any new business? Any new business?
Mr. President,
Sir.
I just want to wish all of Lake County a very happy Valentine's Day. We love you.
Yay. Okay, I did have the pleasure attending with my wife at Mount Moriah Church this weekend, Sunday. It was a celebration and a presentation regarding Black History Month. It was, I would say, Bishop, I think we can characterize that as a good time had by all.
Commissioner.
Anything you want to, if you don't mind, if you want to add?
I came in Pennsville on Gerard Mabel, 1049 Hill Drive. I came in Pennsville when I was 31 years old, and January make it 40 years. For the very first time, I saw a commissioner came to a service with a church from the beginning till the end, And that was a long service. I don't know how himself and his wife did it. I'd like to speak this to the three commissioners. It is a blessing to live in an area like this. I love Lake County. I love Pennsville, Ohio. And I believe I am what I am today because half of my life is here because of all of you. I just want to say thank you for all you do for this great county, for this great nation. May God bless you. May God bless Lake County Sheriff Department. May God bless the prosecutors and the Pennsville City. May God bless all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Bishop. Very kind of you. Okay. If there's nothing further on new business, our second public comment portion. Anyone wishing to address the board? Anyone wishing to address the board at all? Going, gone. All right, well, Madam Clerk, are we going to have that little slide slid in here? Oh, boy.
I believe I have a better picture.
Well, there you go. Happy Valentine's Day and happy birthday, Jason Boyd. Oh, now everybody's taking pictures of that one as a keeper.
Are we making sure this picture is on the live stream? Summer, is this like...
You know, we can swing the camera over. It's like we're doing good on time here. And she's looking at me like my boss is telling me no. Oh, sure. Hey, the viewing public. This one's a keeper.
I'm getting text.
Look at that big smile. Is this part we all break into song?
No.
No? Okay. Happy birthday, Jason.
Thank you.
Summer, thank you. All right, well, with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn our meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes, thank you. This meeting stands adjourned. Thank you for joining us today.